So you've got to present yourself in the right way. You've got to present your armoury, which is your paperwork, in the right way to a lender.
To a lender, not to us.
Yeah.
We're cool. We're on your side, pal.
Just throw it on our desk.
Yeah.
We'll sort that out. We'll present it in the best manner we can. But
no.
So, Happy New Year. Welcome to 2024 and the Inside Property and Finance podcast. I'm here with my business partner, Paul Rawson. I'm Steve Hand. Paul McFadden isn't here again. Where is he? He's in the sunshine. Costa Rica, getting a bronzy on his abs. So today we're going to talk about what we're going to talk about. How to best present yourself when you're going for a mortgage.
For a mortgage, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could have took the tree down there, surely by now.
I know. Bit lazy round here.
Is that McFadden's job?
Yeah, I think
it's just not here.
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah. He's not
on
around
top
to
of the
rally
tree,
the troops.
Yeah, so this is a good one. I find this quite amusing actually because we put it on our TikTok, didn't we? For
we
Express.
did. Yes, yeah.
And it got the biggest hit of the year, over 200,000. Was it?
Yeah.
And we can't work out because it's great advisory content, or the fact that OnlyFans was mentioned.
Yeah.
And it was Hannah, a pretty young girl, doing the TikTok video.
Yeah.
So it's either great content or people out there are just pervs.
Obviously, it's all down to Hannah, which she'll say.
Of course.
But I think, it's a combination of things there, but it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, really interesting. So how to present yourself, and it's a question that people ask us quite regularly because they might go for a mortgage, get knocked back. Typically, people will go to their own bank, aren't they? I don't know why, but people are still loyal to their own banks.
Yeah.
So they go to their own bank, get knocked back, and then they might try one other bank on the high street, get knocked back, and then they go and seek out a broker like us. And then we'll sift through the whole market, which is what they should have done at the beginning.
They see the error of their ways.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, why would you want to wait like a week or two for every appointment with a bank just to talk about their products?
God knows.
We are on their side. People should remember this.
Yeah.
And we're human.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's just a chat. So
Yeah.
we talked about this, didn't we?
Yeah.
It's just a chat.
We don't wear three-piece suits and dicky bows anymore, do we? Or, the old school tie knot.
Did you
It's
use
very, very casual.
I can imagine you in a dicky bow.
No, I was always a rebel.
Rebel with or without a cause?
With.
Yeah, so it's interesting, is it? People might, well, of course, especially first-time buyers will be forgiven for not knowing, but what you when I say what you look like, we're not on about the dicky bow, but what you look like on paper.
Oh, yeah.
And how you put that together. There is things to consider. And joking apart, what's on your bank statements, and we've seen it all over the years, some comical things, really, really does matter.
Yeah.
So should we give some examples? Or?
Yeah, I think so. So
That'd be wise.
what's some of the most interesting things that you've seen on bank statements over the years?
Oh, man, I hope there's no kids watching this. So there's always the who's got the biggest dickhead mate.
Yeah.
So, and I've got a few dickhead mates. I love them to pieces, but they can't help having a bit of a laugh over the years. Maybe not now, we've gotten a bit older, but, when you're younger, it's I've booked the tickets to whatever. They all owe me some money back. So the transfer money online to Paul reference bigdildos.com or things like that. It's like, ha, 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 very funny. And then next month you think, shit, my mortgage is up. I've got to send them into an underwriter.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Which, if you've told them that, even more reason to do it.
Exactly, yeah. So there's always that. And then there's obviously, there's been people who are not ashamed of things, and I'm not saying they should be, but it's just blatantly on there.
Yeah.
And the OnlyFans, as much as we're maybe joking about it, is
It's becoming more popular.
Yeah. And things maybe less of an embarrassment, but if people have got gambling habits, not necessarily addiction.
No.
And I'm not trying to make light of it because I do sympathise with people who are struggling with things like that.
Yeah.
But just, again, a lot of my mates, it's nothing to them. It's a couple of quid here, a couple of quid there. They're not putting themselves under financial stress.
No.
And therefore the argument could be, well, why does it matter then? Well, it's the perception, isn't it?
Yeah.
Of you get someone's bank statements in and it's Skybet or Ladbrokes or whatever, many betting institutions out there were not favourable. But yeah, it's what impression does that make?
Yeah, definitely. And it might just be £2 here, £5 there, you know, and it's within their budget and they've got it under control. But it's the fact that you print out your bank statements, and if a lender asks for 3 months worth, and maybe, I don't know, 3 times a week you go into the bookies and it's like £2, £5. The number sometimes is irrelevant. It's the fact that Skyback or whoever is plastered all over your bank statements.
Yeah.
An underwriter gets that's not understanding of somebody's habit, even if it's not an addiction, and they're just shaking their head, aren't they? And decisions are made sometimes by human beings like that. It's not just all computers.
But you've got to remember, it's their job on the line, underwriting poorly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess it is that they're making applicants guilty before proven innocent. Because again, you speak with people about this over the years, and it's like, well, of course I'm not going to spend that money when I've got a mortgage because I won't be able to afford to.
Yes,
so it's not that they're not sensible. It's like, well, I can do it now because I'm living with my mum and dad.
Yeah.
But I won't do it when I can't. And
Sorry,
it's like,
banks don't see it that way.
Did he? Hell no, absolutely not. Because suppose the counter argument is, how do we know that that's not the beginning of an addiction? I suppose, and we're going to have problems.
Exactly.
And it's not just the betting; it can be spending in general, can't it?
Yeah. Remember when we were going through that period? I think it was just after the Great Recession, so like the early 2010 to 13 period.
Affordability,
and it was like you were. You're going out for a treat meal, like maybe 1 or 2, and you were splashing out on a nice steak and chips or whatever, and they'd look at your bank statements and go, "Oh, he's just spent £200 in that restaurant."
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It got a bit worse, didn't it? Because it wasn't just what they were looking at bank statements. They're asking people to fill in what they spent their money on a affordability calculator.
Yeah.
And obviously it varied from bank to bank. Some of them went way off on tangent, didn't they? Yeah. Like, do you own a pet? That kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Do you pay pet insurance? What do you feed your pets?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you eat steak? There was one, wasn't there? Do you eat steak? And I know this is slightly off tangent to presenting yourself, but it's it gives you the mindset of an underwriter process, doesn't it? Yeah. Do you eat steak?
Yeah.
Well, the answer is yes. I eat steak. You eat steak.
Oh, I love a bit of red meat.
Yeah. I know people who eat steak every day of their life. Mm-hmm. And I know people who have it, who tick the box, I eat steak.
Yeah.
But I might have it once a week. You might have it every day. So why does the answer actually do things?
Yeah.
So, but again, it's just to emphasise that this is the starting point with underwriters, isn't it? It's what's going to go wrong with this application.
Exactly. Yeah. And don't get me wrong, that they will differentiate between what's the average wage now, 30 grand, let's just say, 30 grand a year person and somebody that's on 300 grand a year.
Yeah.
They're not daft. They understand that spending habits are different between those two people, but they'll put you into brackets and they'll have parameters of spend, won't they? And if things are excessive or out of kilter, then alarm bells or red flags go off. Mm. So I've always taken the approach that, and my advice would be, if you know that you're going to need a mortgage, you move in house, in those 3 months, typically 3 months leading up to it,
keep your nose clean.
And just be a little bit more frugal with your spending. No matter what earnings you're on, I would just take that approach.
Yeah. I'll tell a quick one though, because I always find this one amusing. I know you know it, but the guys out there hopefully have not heard this one before. So it might have been last year, the year before. We come back into work after the Christmas period. And there's an application been declined for expenditure reasons on bank statements, yeah?
Yeah.
And we're looking at it, we're thinking, what is it? What's the problem? Because you don't get it's an expenditure issue and these are transactions, on both of them. It's just
minimal.
Like that, minimal. Yeah. So one of the guys in the team, they were struggling to get a straight answer, which is understandable, but as with a lot of things in life, sometimes someone knows someone who can just get a little bit more info.
Yeah.
So I phoned the BDM. I said, after many years of looking at bank statements, I can't see where the problem is with this client. Can you please just try and shed some light on it? And they were good enough, and they did, and they found out. Yeah, and it was transactions in a pub.
Right.
Yeah. So it was, when we went back to them, It was like, yep, round of drinks, 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 yeah. And then I looked a bit closer and I thought, fucking hell, dickhead. Not the client, underwriter.
Right.
Do you know what date it was?
Go on. So, December.
31st. It was New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Fucking New Year's Eve, and he'd bought a lot of drinks, yeah? And that made him a bad bet for a mortgage. Now, to be fair, they hadn't noticed.
Yeah.
And they changed their mind and we got it sorted. But yeah, crackers.
Well, there could be things like that, genuine things where you're taking your team out. So, you might be a sales manager, you're taking your team out for a few drinks. You don't have a work credit card, so you're using your own, you're going to claim back on expenses.
Yeah.
But those 3 months, maybe that last month is the third month, and they've not seen the fact that your firm's going to reimburse you.
Yeah.
So, and they don't always wait for the explanation, do they? They just kind of look at it in isolation and go, right, not happy with this, decline. And it's the time delays. And if you're buying a house and you've negotiated a price based on time, like to a degree, and that can scupper the deal, can't it? Yeah. So really important bank statements. The other thing that we come up with a lot is when people, the world that we're in, when people want to get out of their corporate career and maybe go into property full time or start a business full time.
Yeah.
And they're really chuffed to bits because I've just given up my job. And I've got some savings, so it's cool. That'll last me a year. And I'm setting up this new business. Right, now I want to buy a buy-to-let property, or I want to buy this property. And when it's just happened, it becomes pretty challenging, doesn't it?
Or I want to get money out of my house to go and buy the buy-to-let.
Yeah.
And
yeah. No, you've got to think ahead, haven't you? While you're in that corporate career and you've got a good salary, maybe then take your equity out, if that's your plan, to go and buy buy-to-let properties. And then at some point after that, maybe then you can give your job up or do something different. So, but people just kind of make that decision.
We must clarify. People shouldn't wittingly know I'm about to give my job up and go on.
No,
we're
not
at all. Not saying
No.
that, but you've got to plan
you've got to plan
way in advance.
Yeah, plan accordingly.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think of some more examples of what we've seen on bank statements, but I don't think we should actually. I really don't think we should mention some of them. But what's the other one as well that gets a bit difficult? And it's not so much for the banks. It's when married couples or couples, doesn't have to be married. They want to buy a house together, and then it's okay. Can we have your bank statements? And it's not. It's one of them. They're not particularly bothered that the lender's going to. They know full well it's going to get declined when they see them, and then their other partner's going to go, well, what is it on your bank? Why do we get
declined? Let me have a look at those.
Yeah, and we've had a few people phone up off the joint call later on saying, listen, I can't go ahead with it. I can't do this because it's going to be the end of our relationship if I have to show up my bank statements. But the crazy world of mortgage broking, you think it's all just form filling, putting numbers in boxes, but
not at all.
It gets quite amusing at times.
Yeah, so you've got the bank statements, you've got the employment status, if you like, moving from employed to self-employed. Adverse credit's something that comes up a lot, and I think because people might have been to their own bank initially and been turned down because they've got a blip on the credit file, and a blip can be just like a late payment or a missed payment. With some lenders, they're that pedantic. Other lenders, you've got to have quite a large county court judgment or something for them to knock you back. So it varies considerably, but they might just have something that's not particularly difficult for us to overcome, even if it's quite recent, but they think the world's ended. And do you want to talk through some of the cases that we've had in that world?
Well, I think it's, I mean, the first thing you've said there is quite right. A lot of people just assume they can't be helped and they don't even bother asking.
Yeah.
Remember, it's just a chat. We'll have a chat, let's see what we can do. And there is a huge difference between the large high street automated decision making model. Mm-hmm. Computer says no. You remember? Was it Little Britain?
Oh yeah.
Computer says
remember it well.
And that's true, isn't it? That's exactly how it works. Yeah. Spits it out. Credit score decline. Gone. And then you've got manual underwriting, and especially some of the smaller building societies still very much work on this basis. And even their criteria might be, we won't accept a county court judgment above £500 value within the last 3 years. Something along that. There's all kinds of criteria. Let's go with that.
Fairly typical.
Yeah. But there's how many times over the last 20 years of Express, when we sit down with a client and go, right, what happened? Oh, yeah, I've got a county court judgment here. It's £2,000. Yeah. When did it happen? 2 years ago. So to that lender's criteria, it's a no. Yeah. You say, well, what was it? Oh, I went through a divorce at the time, or there was a bereavement in the family, or and you get a picture, don't you? Yeah. So we're back to presenting it to a lender here, and I guess this is a bit more our job in a way, but clients need to work with us.
Yeah.
If we can go to an underwriter and say, look, we know this is outside of your criteria, but what we've got here is a 6-year credit file. Mm-hmm. It's got nothing on it apart from this one event.
Yeah.
We can prove with divorce papers, let's use that as an example.
Yeah.
It was linked to that time of life. Mm-hmm. It's great income multiple. It's a low loan to value. It's da-da-da. Do you really want to say no to this client who's got an exemplary record other than a time when, understandably, things weren't going quite right for him? Yeah. They're now out of that, and maybe they're applying with somebody else. They're in a new relationship, things like that. Mm-hmm. And how many times have lenders gone, do you know what?
You've got a very strong point there, very good point there. And I'd even go to this degree that lenders will look at the quality of business that they get from a brokerage. And if they see that if we were operating like this, that we're always trying to get
every single application.
Square pegs in round.
It weren't their fault.
Square pegs in round holes. But it's not. If it's like the odd isolated case like that, they'll say, well, look at the quality of their business. 99% of it is absolutely spot on. There's that 1% now and again, which is just we need to flex criteria. Then, of course, they're going to look after you. They're going to help you out. And that's quite often what the general public might not understand, and I don't blame them for that. That them going to a lender on their own, they're not going to get the same results as coming through a broker.
No, it's not what you know; it's who you know. It is what you know.
Yeah,
but it's also who you know, perhaps.
Of course, it is.
Whose door to knock on. And we're talking here very much on the residential and maybe buy-to-let application, but presenting right an application and yourself extends into bridging and development and.
Yeah.
Huge. In fact, sometimes it gets more important, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
And when people expect us to go to these lenders with some scribbles on a piece of paper and get a result, as opposed to the applicant who comes with maybe a spreadsheet and a well-presented, thought-out proposal, it's the same thing, isn't it?
You've got to treat it like an interview. You're not going to rock up with dirty shoes, are you, and your tie skewed to one side. So you've got to present yourself in the right way. You've got to present your armoury, which is your paperwork, in the right way to a lender.
To a lender, not to us.
Yeah.
We're on your side, pal.
Just throw it on our desk. Yeah. We'll sort that out. We'll present it in the best manner we can, but...
No. Yep.
Yeah.
But as you said earlier, you've got to be prepared, haven't you?
Yeah.
Because if they're asking you for 3 or maybe even 6 months, we can't sort that out. If there's a problem, we can tell you what the problem is, but you're going to be another 3 or 6 months till you can.
Yeah, and if you've seen your dream home and you need to take action now.
So the idea here is saying to people, look, prep yourselves for all this because it is important.
Yeah.
And the more you help yourself now, when the time comes, the more we can help you, an application.
Yeah. So in summary, really, it's just to be very aware of what's gone on in the recent past, whether it's employment status, any credit history, adverse or subprime, and also bank statements.
Of course. Yeah.
How could I forget?
Yeah. I'm sure our case manager's favourite part of the job is nosing through the bank statements.
Oh,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, and ID.
I was just going to say passport photo, bank statements.
Like, young lads applying. Let's have a look at him. I've heard that in the office before. Oh yeah, he's an 8. He's a dream.
Yeah,
will really help his mortgage. No, I'm only joking. We don't pick and choose, but
no.
It can be amusing. That might put a lot of people off sending stuff to us now, but
I know, no, we don't.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
No, our job obviously is to make sure we present you guys in the best possible light, and facilitate your mortgage and get things through. Yeah. And that's what we've done for many years.
And don't assume everything's a no-hoper. Reach out to the team, have a chat with an advisor, give it them warts and all, and they'll come up with a solution if there is one.
Yeah, great. So that's us. So any thoughts, comments, questions, put them in the comments below and we'll respond accordingly. Bye for now.